Hey, tolerators. This is To All the Men I've Tolerated Before with Natalie Katona, your weekly look at everyday misogyny. Okay, Chris DeRosa is back. He needs no introduction. He's not getting one today. He was just here for Wicked, and then he begged, and then pleaded, and then bossed me to watch. It ends with, and then bullied.
Bullied you into doing this?
Yeah, to watch It Ends With Us, so here we are. I'm going to make him talk to me about workplace harassment, despite the fact that we have to also talk about this movie because of the Blake Lively and Justin Bologna drama. So, Chris, what do you have to say for yourself?
I watched this again. Okay, first and foremost, please know that, like, the next time you come here, we will be going on a pilgrimage to all of the locations in this movie because every single one of them was shot, other than, like, wherever her, like, childhood home is. Every single one of the places in this movie I recognized as a place in my neighborhood. So,
and we will be wearing up to 5 layers of florals.
Yeah, with like overalls, like, or like her, one of my notes is like, I love her Carhartt jacket and paint splattered pants.
And
like, what a fucking loser.
And we're crimping our hair.
You never thought that the hair crimp was going to come back, did you? But it did.
She had really hot curly hair at the Super Bowl, but like there's a time and a place for really hot crimped hair, and I just don't feel like this movie was it.
It's also just like, there's so many things wrong. I don't even know. Where do we begin?
First off, this movie was to launch her skin line. No, her hairline.
Her hair care line.
So why was all the hair in the movie bad?
I thought that her hair was actually good, and I actually do like the curly hair thing, but it's just like so.
I thought everyone looked dehydrated. I was like, why do we all look so dry?
Hassan said the same thing. Hassan was like, why does she look like she needs to like scrub her face?
They all did.
And I wrote, the light sepia filter over the whole movie is incredible. But I think that's what it was. Like, there was like a color correction happening.
The only one who looks wonderful is Jenny Slate.
Yes. And she's also the only person that acts well in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it's weird. Yeah, the sepia tones that are happening throughout are just not great for me. I'm not enjoying them. Like, again, I know what that street looks like. That's not what it looks like. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I walk down that street. So, like I've been in that restaurant before. I know that it's not all, like, beige tones. You know what I mean?
And I need everyone to know how differently Chris and I are talking about it. When we were talking about the lighting in Wicked not being our favorite, we were like, but that's us nitpicking because we're so in love with everything else that's happening. And we're just like, everyone looks dehydrated, and it actually ruined this movie.
Yeah. But it also is like not a filter. Like, the lighting in Wicked is not a filter. Do you know what I mean? That you put over something. And like, it was so bad. Okay, let's continue.
Okay, here's my wild note. This movie, like the movie itself and possibly the book that I won't read, it has good bones. You know, when you like, it's like when you're dating a loser, but you see the potential in the loser.
Or you're like, oh, like, this person isn't like, yeah, I know what you mean, yes.
Like, first off, like, I felt like Harry Styles because I was like, well, It Ends With Us is a movie. It did all the movie things. Like, there were lines, they were delivered, there was set.
There was scenes, yeah. Like, there was a beginning, a middle, and an end. Yeah, like, it technically is a movie.
It was aesthetically pleasing in some parts. I was like, pretty flower walls, okay.
Yeah, the really nice apartments that they're in the whole time.
In case anyone doesn't know, I didn't write down a synopsis for It Ends With Us because I just thought that everyone, like you and I, were perpetually online. But It Ends With Us is a movie that came out at the end of 2024, if not on the cusp of 2025. And it's that movie where Blake Lively was like, get your girls, put on your florals, we're going out, it's movie night. And the movie's about domestic violence. And then Justin Bologna, and I will not be using his correct name because he has not earned my respect. He's the guy that decided that he cured toxic masculinity by cosplaying as Nick Lachey in his proposal video.
Oh, brother. Oh, brother, not cosplaying as Nick Lachey.
That's what he did. And so he's on the Man Enough podcast where he's like, are we man enough to feel? Are we man enough to treat women right? And according to Blake, no.
Yeah, no, truly though. And every other day is a new discovery of like a 2-minute voice note that came out today. It just every day it's a new article, which I'm not into.
But the movie is based on a Colleen Hoover book, and she's a very like controversial figure in herself. Like technically she is a pioneer of the self-publishing book talk world.
Sure. It shows, by the way.
Yeah. However, if you ask, here's the thing, and I'm going to end up like insulting people who are like close to me because I'm like, if you ask people who enjoy reading books that are above a third grade reading level, then they're like, these books are bad.
Yeah,
but
sure.
It's a very easy book to tuck into a white lady book club because it's about domestic violence and romance and in unplanned pregnancy. And technically white women like look at that book and go, there's themes.
Yeah.
that
They're
affect us.
And I think the other thing is like, it's like, it is giving the illusion of like this movie is like saying things. You know what I mean? Like, ooh, like look at this like this bold comment on domestic violence, but it just like simply isn't doing that.
No.
Right?
My last note is the whole thing is an after school special. It is an extended
Slam.
It is an extended Degrassi movie. Like they should have put it on the end.
Hey. Yeah, the end for as in noggin. Yeah,
yes,
as in noggin.
As in noggin. Listen, it was noggin when the cartoons were on, and then at 4 p.m. it switched over for the teens, and that's when it became the end.
Yeah, correct.
But it moves like a Degrassi episode, which might be why I didn't hate it, because I was like, oh, I've watched this before. I am a millennial. Sure. I've watched Boy Meets World. I've tried to watch teenagers talk about their parents being mean to one another. But yeah, the whole thing, including her like bedside TED talk to him. I was like, what an after school special.
Whenever she's like, what will you say when your daughter says this to you right now? Do you mean?
Yes. Which we can't go there first.
No, we have so many more things to get through before that. Like so many.
Let me talk about how the movie has good bones, because I do think that they attempted something that was really smart, but they couldn't pull it off because no one, the writers, the directors, no one was talented on this set except for Jenny Slate. I think they tried to Gone Girl us, where it's like, flowers. My name is Lily Blossom Bloom. I'm just a girl.
Literally kill me now, but P.S.
Yeah, I'm just a girl. I have a weird relationship with my mom, and I have nothing nice to say about my dad. And I'm whisked away to the city, and I have a really sexy meet cute on the roof of a stranger's building because I break into people's apartments. And it sets it up like this is going to be an epic romance movie. And I was like, okay. And then the tone's gonna flip like Gone Girl, because I literally remember reading Gone Girl, flipping the page, spoiler for Gone Girl, and Ben Affleck's wife, all of a sudden the point of view has shifted. And Ben Affleck's dead wife is like, haha, I'm alive because I hate Ben Affleck. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
But it didn't do it.
No, that's not what happened at all.
But I could tell that they were trying. I'm like, they are really trying to build up this romance. So then when he becomes a jerk, it hits harder. But no one actually ever made me feel bad that he's a jerk. You know what I'm saying? I should be the most enraged that a man is abusing a woman on screen. And yet everyone was like too above and too evolved to actually have feelings about it.
Yeah, like even when Jenny Slate like hears that like her brother is an abuser, she's like, as his sister, I should tell you to like take him back. But as your friend, I can never let you do that. And I was like, give me 17 breaks, please, and thank you. Like it was just so serious. I said, every scene turns into the most serious scene. Why does the scene with Jenny Slate turn into Jenny Slate's baby turn into a proposal? I want to die was one of the answers. And then I said, every scene that has to do with domestic violence turns into Justin Baldoni's star turn scene. Like every scene turns into like, again, every scene where what is his name? Atlas is in it. P.S. That guy is so hot.
He's so hot.
Yeah,
He
so
can be
hot.
on the podcast.
Every scene with him is like when at one point he just goes, this is the second time they've seen each other since they were children, and they're in a bathroom that you and I will be in one day.
Reenacting this scene.
They're like, how many people do you think go into that restaurant every fucking day? And it's like, truly, they're like, get out now.
I'm writing a heart on my collarbone when we go.
No, he goes, she's like, it wasn't a thing. It wasn't, it was an accident, blah, blah. He goes, leave him. Leave him now. I was like, go away. What is happening?
Right, because then I ended up pissed at him. I was like, don't tell her what to do.
And like, don't like be concerned for her only until like she's not there anymore, and then you're not concerned anymore. Do you know what I mean?
You're not texting. You're not checking in. Here's another thing about Lily Blossom Bloom. We will use her full name the entire time.
Of course.
Her abusive father is Owen Hunt from Grey's Anatomy. And Owen Hunt loves nothing more than to make a woman's life miserable. So as far as I know, this movie is also Grey's Anatomy canon.
I kept being like, why is this movie 2 hours and 10 minutes long? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then I like keep thinking of all the scenes, and it's like they have no room. Because I keep being like, why are all these scenes so straight to the point of like seriousness? But that like it's weird that I feel like I'm spending no time within a scene, and yet like it's 2 hours. It's 2 hours and 10 minutes long. Do you know what I mean?
The book has to span 15 years because the time moves so weird in this movie. We will be talking to Jenny Slate, and then the next time we see her, she's 6 months pregnant.
Yeah.
And then the next time we see her, there's a baby.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how long have they been? We never saw their marriage. We only saw it in a flashback, their wedding. So I was like, so they got married, but like when? And I was like, I need a time. How quickly are we moving through time?
And like, how are we moving so quickly and yet we see nothing? Do you know what I mean? It's like, how are we like spanning this much time and yet nothing is seen? Like, do you know what I mean? Like every scene, it's like there's no lead up to them doing the most dramatic part of the thing that they need to do. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Now, so that aesthetic of like, it's like that they were trying to prove like in another life, on an alternate plane of existence, this is a romance that they write books about.
Right? Like that's the part, the tone of it is so wrong.
And you should be here in your florals with your girlfriends. And that's why I gave you a dress code.
Yeah.
And it does like speak to the gaslighting that comes with domestic abuse and intimate partner abuse. And for a moment, I fell into it because I kept texting you and Julia. I was like, technically, everything that is happening is an accident. Like,
yeah.
He burns his hand, and when she goes towards him because his hand's burnt, he throws it up and it hits her. I'm like, accident. She stumbles down the stairs. I was like, accident. And then you guys went, wait.
Yeah, yes.
And I will say that the use of me and the audience thought it happened this way. And then when I could finally decide I need to leave you because you're abusive, then the memories came back to me in the way that they really were. And it was he actually hit her because he was pissed about burning the frittata. And then he like threw her down the stairs because they were in another argument. And he the whole movie's a trigger warning.
Yeah.
He marital raped her, basically, is what happened.
Like assaults her, yes.
Yeah, he assaults her.
And like, yeah.
Right.
Which PS, why was that scene the scene that I thought was acted the best? Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no.
I don't to say that, but I thought that scene was actually the best scene.
Because Justin had practiced it every
No,
day on
no,
set by abusing Blake Lively.
No, it's so horrible for me to say, but I must speak my truth. I thought that was the best scene of the whole movie.
Well, yeah. Because, okay, I also wrote a note to myself. I was like, okay, when Blake Lively was younger and I was a teenager, was she a better actress or was I stupid?
And what did you think? What conclusion did you come to?
We all love Gossip Girl, right?
Yeah.
And she
Yeah.
had us in a hold on Gossip Girl.
Yeah, sure.
Like, she was very good at being Serena, whatever Serena's last name is in Gossip Girl. And then she was good in the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. Like, there was depth to that role because in Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, she's also assaulted by a soccer coach, like a summer coach camp type deal. And it was good. The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants movies are good. It's a solid cast and they've all remained friends. And so I was like, what happened to Blake Lively? Because like The Age of Adeline, not good. I don't think I've seen Green Lantern, not good. Yeah, The Age of Adeline, where it's like Tuck Everlasting, but she's a lady. Yeah.
Tuck Everlasting.
And Harrison Ford's the love interest and his son.
Oh, brother.
Yeah.
It's like a full brother, but yeah.
Yeah, also not a great story for him.
She's like fine in the movie. I am nowhere near. She is the least of my worries acting wise, other than Jenny Slate, as we've already said. When it comes to like her lines are less cringe to me.
I got pissed off because I was like, why are you acting like you're too evolved to actually walk us through how upset you are about this? Like, we never had a cathartic screaming or crying or flashback. And I'm not saying that everyone has to deal with like abuse or trauma in the same way, but it can't be you left him, then he gets to build a crib for you because you and your mom just can't figure it out.
Yeah, no, that's like the ultimate, like, throw me off of a bridge, please. Yeah, like, if only a man was here to do this. Like, that's truly what that is. And that is like, the funniest part is that is textbook, like, misogyny. Do you know what I mean? That is like, only a man can use a tool. That is like 101 of like being a feminist, which he says that he is like to not have that. But then I also go back and forth of like, how much was that like in the book that this fucking idiot wrote? You know what I mean?
Well, because I kept telling Julia, I go, I guess I have to blame Baloney for how like
true to the book. Yeah, like, yeah.
Or like how he comes off as like the good guy abuser, like he's a good abuser. Like he abuses you, but he's also like a good one because he listens about it, like, or he feels bad.
But also like, which I think is like part of the thing. I think to me that's like makes nuance, and I think is actually interesting. Versus, am I wrong?
I don't know.
Like, it makes me think that he's like, oh no, I don't think like, yes, I'm an abuser. He thinks that like I got mad and this happened. And then he's like, once she gives him that again, the TED Talk when they're in like the labor bed together, he's like, you're right, I am a monster, you know?
But how much time did we waste on the crib and the nursery of it all and just like shots of her walking around places when we could have had like a conversation about why she a real scene.
Again, that's my thing is like there is so much real estate here, and yet like every scene has to be boiled down to like intro line, then like exactly what I need to say here in this scene, and then
we're gone.
You know what I mean?
And why are we gone? Because if he had a sit down, if she had a sit down with Jenny Slate and be like, I'm leaving your brother, he literally threw me down the stairs, and Jenny Slate's like, oh my God, please never speak to my brother again. I wouldn't be able to be your friend or respect you, which is kind of what she says in the movie.
Is what she says, yeah.
And then we cut to Jenny Slate calling her brother and me like, you're coming to my house now. And it's like she confronts him on it.
Coming to my house, aka walking across the hallway and coming to my apartment. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. You're coming over for dinner tonight. And it's him And maybe even her like ignorant husband who's just like a good time guy.
Yeah, I can't with them with the onesies and the hoodies and the like. While she's giving birth to his child, he has like a like ugly like wannabe Bape hoodie on, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening here? Like remind me to come back to the wardrobe anyway.
Yes. So, and we have like a dinner scene where he's trying to riddle it out, right? Like, I was just like really frustrated, and my job's a lot because I'm a neurosurgeon. And like, Big Little Lies did the nuance better with the Skarsgård of it all.
Yes.
With Nicole Kidman playing into it, talking to her therapist about like, well, he can't be bad because I'd be bad too. And we're talking about like being baited into our emotions or coping mechanisms or dual memories or things. Big Little Lies took, I think, what Colleen Hoover was trying to do and actually did it in a way where I'm like, everyone's respected. Everyone gets to go home.
Yeah, sure. I agree.
Feeling seen. And maybe it's because of Nicole Kidman. I don't know.
I mean, it is. It
is.
I mean, our only living movie star that we have left.
Hello, Nick.
Yeah, like, and again, it's like that would be a cool scene to see like Jenny Slate. And then what is the part with like her brother, like the brother that died, and that's like the crux of how he became an angry person. But it's like what?
But no one's talked to him about it ever.
And like that doesn't mean any. It was like clearly an accident. So then he becomes an abuser because he killed his brother accidentally.
But like I needed something. Like I just needed something to like give meat to it. There was no weight to anything. Everything felt so like I kept telling myself like, well, yeah, it's technically a movie.
Yes, it is like, and it's like, and now this scripted line that I need to deliver to have the plot go forward will go now. Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I wrote.
Who adapted the script? Was it Colleen?
Some charlatan, who knows? And I'm like not getting into all my theories about like the on-set behavior yet because I just like we're
saving it.
Like we just can't. But like again, this is like remember that this is the like version where Blake Lively like has salvaged the script. Do you know what I mean?
Oh.
Like this is the good version of the movie. Do you know what I mean? Like
because everyone should give Chris $5 so they can listen for the rest of the year of him and Dominic covering the Blake Lively Justin Bologna trial. They're going full serial. They will be covering it in multiple
next
parts
on serial.
Yeah, because when Chris said, "I think Blake Lively is a professional and she knows exactly what to do," she walked onto the set and she went, "Justin's a moron and the script is bad." And I called that in our group text from day one.
Yeah.
I was like, he's big mad and big pouty because he had to be confronted with a woman who was better than him. And he is Mr. Loves women, respects women, wants women to succeed, right up until it's threatening to him, hence the fake allyship.
I agree with you. I wrote this. I said him telling her to shut up is the first red flag of his anger. When he's like, shut up. When she's like trying to tell him something and they're on that like rooftop or whatever.
And he's like, shut up.
Yeah.
Well, and he's pushy the entire time. I want to have sex with you. And she's like, no. And then he's like, then I get to touch you a certain way. And she's also like, no. And he's like, I get one kiss. No, that's frat boy behavior.
Well, it's funny. Yeah. Well, no, he's like, I want to bang you so bad. And she's like, no, you may not. And then like takes her clothes off and has like the hottest lingerie that you've ever seen in your life. And she's like, and now we will sleep together. Do you know what I mean? Like, and now we will sleep side by side, not touching each other in this bed. And I'm like, oh my God.
Well, because I almost was into that too, because I was like, oh, they're both toxic. Because I love when like two toxic people
are
just
sure, and like let it go. Yeah, like let them at each other. Yeah.
Because I think that's what happened on set. Because, okay, I have listened to this equation because maybe we do just move on from the script was bad.
No. I have so many more notes of why the script was bad, though, that I need to run through because
okay, go for it.
Okay, so I said the quote, them not having sex scene is super hot, but also makes no sense. Like when he takes his shirt off and you see his body, like, and he has that button down shirt, it's like out of control.
Uh-huh.
Like absolutely out of control. This is also when I noticed that they were all dehydrated, but also out of control. And then again, she's like, I'm not gonna have sex with you, but like, let me slip off this. Let me slip off this like this like dress, and I'm gonna have this like matching hot, like I am asking to be fucked yesterday lingerie outfit that I will now reveal to you, and I will have you take off my like sequined my like sequined boots. Do you know what I mean? That like
Yes.
are like not real for like basically every foot fetish's wet dream that I'm like worn
I
into
think,
this.
honestly, I have this conspiracy theory because Blake brought all of her own wardrobe in every day. I think those are Taylor Swift's boots. Like,
No,
I feel like
I
I've
think that they
seen them.
are. I think that they are. I think that they are. And then they like get naked, get quote unquote naked, and then like fall asleep together. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what is this scene? Like, what is the point of this?
And then
scene?
their boyfriend, girlfriend.
It doesn't make any, again, it doesn't make any sense to me other than to like show us their bodies, which I'm fine looking at because she looks so good at it. Like, body be banging on her too. Like, when she takes her little dress off, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like,
no, she's
yeah. And
Blake Lively's job is to be gorgeous, like,
Yes,
and
and
not
she
in
does
like a
it-
real shitty way. Like, that's what she's made her
No.
job be.
and does it well. Does
Yeah.
it very well. Like, which I'm fine. Again, I'm fine with us like parading their bodies around to then like have them be like in a scene together sexually. But it like is like where she's like, and you will respect me and not. It's so losery to me. I don't know.
It's
just
so after school special.
Yes. And then whenever Jenny Slate pops in and she's like, "Oh no, you've had sex with my brother." Like, blah, what's gonna happen? And then, which P.S. At least she acts it well when he goes, "This is different." I was like, "This is Twilight coded." Like whenever they're like, "Bella, like I want to destroy you, but I will respect you."
Shut the fuck up. Is every book talk book just Twilight fanfic in disguise?
The answer is yes. The answer is yes. Tell me I'm wrong though. He goes, "This is different." It's so bad, right?
It's so bad.
And then my next note is this slow-mo montage of them, quote unquote, trying to date turns into like a hot and heavy fucking on a balcony during the day. And it's very odd.
It's very hot.
There's a thing where they're like holding hands. And again, this is that footage where they're like, where he's like, look, I wasn't sexually harassing her during this scene.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like them like it's like them like holding hands and like doing a slow-mo shot of them like in formal wear on a roof.
They're doing
But then
karaoke.
she's like, and now I will mount you on this roof. Like, it is so weird. Which brings me over to her side a little bit because I'm like, why are you like simulating sex in this weird scene that's supposed to be like you two like enjoying your like
love?
You know what I'm love? Yes. Like, why can't you be at the farmer's market like holding hands while he's like holding like a paper bag full of like long stemmed carrots? You know what I mean? Like that makes sense to me. Whereas again, the scene we didn't need to see where P.S. they're at a party that's like fully raging where he's like, it's time for me to get ready for bed. And she's like, me too. And then they like sexually do a like clothing removal for each other and then not fuck. Like that didn't need to exist in this movie for then us to like in this montage see them finally have sex, kind of. Do you know what I mean? Like It doesn't make any sense. Like
well, because here's the thing too. The whole premise is, you know how like my whole theme of my life is feminine rage, but make it funny.
Sure.
Colleen Hoover's goal was domestic violence, but make it kind of sexy. And that's why you got tricked. Like, not that survivors get tricked, but I feel like that's Colleen's mindset.
Yeah, like the whole point of like the scene is that he like could have R-worded her in this scene when she's wearing
but he
this,
didn't.
Like, where she's in every way what men would say is quote unquote asking for it. You know what I mean? Because she's wearing like a see-through like nipple cover bikini top as lingerie and is like, now we'll sleep together but not touch, you know. And so but instead it's like he's respectful this time and doesn't R-word her.
Well, and here's what's fucked, because he's playing the like redeemable abuser the entire time, which my friend did say is how it plays out in the book. Like, they're trying to very heavy-handedly feel like, but don't just like leave him out in the cold about it. He's still
but he still is the father of your child.
Yeah.
And so like, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's like throughout the whole book, he's still a good boyfriend. He's still like, it's like they're your mom and your aunt, and you finally said, I'm leaving Ryland or whatever the fuck his name
Ryle.
is.
I'm so sorry to
Ryle.
tell Ryle. These names, give me a break.
I'm leaving Ryle. And then your mom and your aunt, who were never allowed to divorce their husbands because of Catholicism,
Yeah. Or like, why? Yeah.
they take your hand and they go, why would you do that? And
And
you
you're like,
go,
he pushed me down a flight of
he
stairs.
pushed you down a flight of stairs. And then they follow it up with, did he say he was sorry and maybe buy you like a car or something afterwards? And then you have to be like, he did say he was sorry. We did get my favorite takeout the next day. And then they go, marriage saved. Like
Yeah.
that's the whole book.
Sure. Yeah. No, of course it is. And again, it's like we're spending the real estate of like, oh, here's this like, will they, won't they? Like, and then he respects her and then they have sex, like when they say they love each other, which is so like gross to me and so Christianity, you know what I mean? And like, ew, give me a break. But then it's like we waste all that real estate there to not then have these like cathartic moments that we're like, that we're working to the entire movie. Cause like the parts of her when she's younger with the guy, like those, I like liked those scenes. Like they weren't as bad and they weren't as like oh brother, like it was very like you see them like hanging out and like watching like the Ellen show after school and they like Sheila's like you can shower at my house and he's like okay and they like you're like building character there, which like they don't do any of in like whenever it's Blake and Justin, it's all just like and this is the other theory is that it's Justin trying to like he really thinks he's like getting nominated for awards and best director from doing this like.
Well, and let's talk about how fucked it is that he's the one who like read the book, called Colleen, and was like, I deserve the rights of this movie. Like, number one, it's fucked that you wanted to play Ryle. It's fucked that you wanted to be my Catholic aunt telling me behind the scenes, Ryle's a good guy. No one should ever think about divorcing him.
Yeah.
It's fucked that you thought that you were the authority figure on a woman centered story about domestic abuse. Like, get fucked. Like, I cannot, if I had his address, I would write him a card that said, get fucked. Just get fucked. And the fact that, like, Colleen Hoover, who is clearly a woman who is still living with patriarchy, went, this will be perfect. And then the two of them together gave me the redeemable movie of the year for all abusers. Like, just like coaching abusers on how to be like, but I'm nice, but I didn't do this.
Well, and she like doesn't have the like there. Like, what is the climax of this film?
None.
There isn't one. Like, what is the climax?
I guess it's supposed to be when she gives him a TED talk on the hospital bed after she's
while he's holding their child. While he is holding their child, by the way.
He is holding their child. She has just named that child after the dead brother. And he went, what a perfect gift for me. And I went, why does he get that? What? Why does he get that? Also, the movie ends with them taking that baby to Owen Hunt's grave, Owen Hunt's evil grave with the bad vibes. The mom going, I never left your dad because I couldn't, even though we fully watch Owen Hunt strangle her on a couch. And she's like, it just never got bad enough for me to feel like I needed to. And then Blake Lively was like, of course I'll introduce his spirit to my baby. I was like, no, generational curses.
No, it doesn't, and it doesn't make any sense. And again, it's like she's at peace with her father. It's like
no,
like,
you're not.
And you like didn't earn any. Again, like in this movie, we did not earn her. That would be a good movie of her being like having to struggle with like her father's sins after he died. That's an interesting movie.
Yes,
we did not. That was not the movie that I watched.
No, ever, or even struggling with. Because I've watched women do this when men have been bad to them, but they're still caught up on the good part of it. Or they've moved past the man because he's been so awful, but then something catastrophic happens to that man. And they're like, well, now I can only dwell on the good parts because your brain copes. We have to survive.
Well, and I think that part of it too is that like it's like we see that her mom was like she had this in her family before, and so she's much more apt to like be okay with it because of that, and like do what like again. There's so many times she's like, I didn't turn into my mother, and he's like, yes, you did. Remember what like what's his name does, and I'm like, please, this give me a break with both of you. You know what I mean? It's like that's so much of it, but again, we don't like explore that at all.
No.
it's like in passing that she like comes to these realizations. It's very similar to like in Just Like That season 2, where many of the all of Charlotte's storylines are like Charlotte realizing that she's being an idiot, and then like that's the end of the storyline that we've like spent 25 minutes of this 47-minute episode like building up to.
Charlotte, we're just at a dinner party, and all of a sudden Charlotte announces, "And now I understand gender fluidity," and we're like, "Okay, Charlotte."
Yeah, and she's like, or whenever she goes to like, she's so nervous to like she needs to be skinny whenever she goes to like the art gallery. Whenever, remember, so she wears like triple Spanx to the art gallery, and then the art gallery owner is fat, and then she's like, "Oh my god, I'm an idiot! Like, I'm definitely skinnier than you, so that's great." That's the climax of this episode. Am I wrong at all?
No, that's it. That's it. Oh, in my screenwriting workshop, someone challenged us to find the theme of Emily and Paris, and I turned my mic on and I was like, the only theme of Emily and Paris is to wear
Stop
stupid
calling
hats.
it Emily and Paris one first.
That's
How
number one.
you?
That's the title, and I like rhyming.
It's not. It's not. You like getting me mad is what you like to do. Continue.
Yeah. And so I was like, the theme of Emily in Paris is to wear stupid hats. It's the only point of the entire story.
Yeah. And rightfully, P.S. rightfully so.
And they laughed, and I went, "No, Darren Star himself said,"
yeah, like the creator, maybe you've heard of him.
He said, "Stop trying to find meaning in my stupid Paris show.
I'm here to do a parade of hot ass men in front of you and these women like are getting it like Eiffel Towered, no pun intended, by men every episode, and that's the point. And I'm like, I'm lining up for that.
Because do you know what else I think is so fucked? The abuse in the movie almost has the same vibe as the alleged abuse on set, where like one of them is like, "I'm just a guy who's reacting to my environment." And then like a woman isn't going to show her public face about this, so she's instead just going to email people a bunch of lawsuit actions that she's filing. Sure. Like it's the same kind of like icky thing, and now the world's split on it.
Yeah.
And as you know, Chris, I don't know if you know, you've been on 3 times, but I run a feminist podcast. And we pride ourselves on being intersectional feminists here on To All the Men I've Tolerated Before. And did I want racist Blake Lively to be the reason I ever got to talk about like workplace harassment in Hollywood? No, she's a racist. No. But okay, so now we can do my insane calculation that I made.
Okay, go ahead.
This is why this all happened. So it says, this is why I can believe that Blake is an asshole who also experienced being harassed by another asshole.
Yes.
So white supremacy created the privilege that Blake and Ryan thrive under. They are literally the poster children for the white racist experience. White supremacy also created the misogyny that allows Justin to take the suffering of women inflicted by men and build a brand off of it by being the better guy, just making money hand over foot by being like, but I'm above it.
Yeah.
So therefore, white supremacy on top of white supremacy turned into twisters, and we got this clusterfuck because they're both two very privileged people being like, well, I get to do this. Well, I get to do this. And I get to do this. And I'm a misogynist.
Well, and here's the other thing is like, if Justin was this feminist icon that he says that he is, he would have read this book and been like, what the fuck is this? Not, I need to option this so I can make it a film.
And be Ryle.
Yeah, and be in it.
The star.
Like, if he really was like, I'm a feminist and like, I need to, like, I'm like trying to uplift women, like, this book is not it, right? Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Right?
No. And again, and this is how like the book mirrors the abuse on set. Before Ryle and Lily Blossom Bloom have that we're naked but we're not touching scene.
My favorite scene in the whole movie.
The entire movie is him going, but you like me. And her going, I haven't figured that out yet. And him going, but you like me. And her being like, okay. And he's like, but we're friends because you like me. And what's Justin Baloney's defense for, I didn't abuse Blake. here are all the text messages where she was nice to me.
You're so true, though. Oh my God, that's like really bad.
I know.
No,
I'll come on for one of the serial episodes.
You might have to, because
I have the time.
That is like really real.
That's really real.
Because you're so right. He's like, no, we're friends. Like P.S. that text that's like, I'm just in my trailer, like milking or whatever.
Yeah.
Milking.
Milking.
Ew, I'm disgusting. Milking. I am sorry to every woman that's listening to this. I'm just pumping in my trailer. Like, that is absolutely not an invitation for him to come into her trailer.
Right, please don't chat with me. Please don't.
No, like, she's saying, like, I'm just, like, doing this menial task that I can set aside, like, to come meet you somewhere.
And he made it weird.
And he was like, no, look at this text where she invites me in her trailer. I'm like, I'm not reading her inviting you anywhere. I'm reading her saying, I am not busy, so I can meet you somewhere to do this.
No. And so, yeah, and I hate nothing more than, like, every guy's defense of, but I thought you liked me.
Yeah. Hence why I like beat you in the face and pushed you down the flight of stairs.
Right. We've built a million incels off of it.
Which is why I'm like watching you breastfeed your kid and or showing you a video of my wife giving birth naked.
Because like, here's the fucked up reason in my head that I think that we never like move past the Blake and Justin dynamic, because we all experience it at some point in our lives.
Sure, agree, yeah.
Is because women have been conditioned to fawn to men that we just want to leave. Like, if I smile enough, if I don't move, if I go, you're right, we are friends, I like you, he'll get bored, he'll get distracted, and he'll leave, and then I'm safe. And then men have never been conditioned to believe that they're unlikable.
Yeah, sure. No, agree.
So Justin's just walking through set being like, and she likes me, and we're the best of friends, and they're going to name their next kid after me, and I'm going to go watch her breastfeed right now and have my friend look at her tutor.
I think that he thought that's what it was going to be, but every person that I've spoken to about her on set says that she is a monster. So I think that he thinks that that's what it was going to be. And then she was like, no, I'll just be here by myself, not with you. And I think he was like heartbroken.
And then he snapped.
Yeah.
And because of the ego of it all.
Yes.
And I will say that like him getting to hold on to the shred of, I think she liked me all along, is like a double down on the delusion, because then men love to be like, she's just so sarcastic and funny. That's why she's telling me to fuck off and die.
Yeah.
That's so funny, Blake. And it's like, no, I literally told you to fuck off and die because I wish you would. Like,
yeah. Yes.
Like, what a fun little romp we had in the middle of everyone's work day.
It's like...
It's ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
And like, here's the thing. My friend laid it out in a text message to me when we were like, oh God, how do we even navigate this? Because we've got plantation king and queen over here being like, women don't deserve to be harassed at work. And I'm like, I do believe that. Why did you get married on a plantation? So I could back you in that. And then we have a man, and we know I'm never going to take his side because of my own prejudice against men. And technically, he's the ally king. And literally, women, I guess a lot of women were listening to the Man Enough podcast and holding out hope. I think that like straight women really thought like, look, there is a good one. And if Justin can be an ally, my husband too will stop treating me like trash. Like we get so bogged down with it. Like, we're like a shred of hope. Mine's Dave Bautista with the pit bulls. Like,
sure. No, you love him.
I love him. If Dave Bautista hugged me, it would heal me. All of my issues would be gone. But so like, I think a lot of people like, we love to make a woman a hero and then throw her right in the trash. And we see it all the time. Beyonce, Taylor Swift, all of them.
Sure. Yeah. Britney.
We love to put a man on a pedestal for nothing. He started a podcast. We love to put him on a pedestal for nothing. And then when someone goes, he pushed me down the stairs, we go, no, he didn't. He's our one good one. That's why we put him there.
Yeah. Well, I one of my notes is every scene that has to do with domestic violence turns into Justin Baldoni's star turn scene. Like his acting, and then the next note is every scene turns into the most serious scene. Like it's there's so much acting with a capital A in the worst way. Like it's like so much acting, and it's like again like oh right in this moment where it's supposed to be like domestic, like we're supposed to be like uncovering that he's like an abuser. It's like him like doing his like best work that he thinks he's doing. Do you know what I mean? And trying to be like, and again like stealing every scene away from the main character.
And that's how you know he's a fucking creep, because he's getting off on getting to be Ryle. Like, I'm going to be Ryle, and I'm going to do it justice. And he will be everyone's number one bad guy. Like,
yes. The only scene that I really liked was whenever he brings that magazine home and is like, read it now. Like that part, I was like scared, and it was like, oh no, like she's going to get it. Like, uh-oh. You know what I mean? Like I was like, she's done for. Like, run. You know what I mean? Like that part was like very well done, and I felt very real.
Whereas I wonder if Blake wrote it. Blake write in.
And like, I think that like, I don't know. The movie was just so bad.
Can I tell you something funny that happened today because my sister tried to watch the morning show on Apple TV?
Oh, brother. Okay, and?
So my sister goes, I tried to watch the morning show on Apple TV and I couldn't get through the first episode. That show's so bad. I go, have you not heard that that's the worst show in existence currently?
Yes, have I watched every single episode of it? Guilty as charged.
And then she texted me, I literally can't tell what side of Me Too each woman is on, but I think
yes, correct.
But I think it's the wrong side. And I texted back just like Blake Lively.
Yes.
When life imitates art. Because here's the thing. If Blake Lively has filed all of these lawsuits, or whatever you call them, I didn't pay attention to a lot of the legal jargon.
Sure.
I'm but a girl. But if she files all of this bullshit, and I hate using it as a verb, but it's the last time we were in this position, and I get fucking Amber Hearded again, where a woman was finally standing up for something that we've all experienced and all done, and she was in a position of power where she could do it. And then everyone went, Johnny Depp's such a stand-up guy, though. Never, not one day. And then it's all for naught because it all gets torn down. And you and I have personal friends who are still affected by the Amber Heard thing.
Yeah, correct.
Who had real life consequences. So what I'm worried is that like, and I wish I had saved the article. It was on my feed when we were still allowed to peruse Meta and it be about women. There was an article that was like, Blake Lively just killed Me Too. Because it's like, so she comes out with it, and instead of the public being like, that's right, girl, we're on it, people are like, you're too fucking pretty and rich to ever like have anything bad happen to you. Stop bitching. And we're now all in this very toxic cycle. And I literally can't go through it again. Like I honestly need him to lose whether or not it's all true. And that's bad. And not justice.
Yeah, no. And I think the most damning part on her end is that like she then wrenched control of the movie away from him.
Right. Which honestly, I'm a petty bitch, and I probably would have done it too.
Incredible, but it's like wrong. You know what I mean?
It's wrong. Like it's wrong. Not professional.
It's not professional, and it's not this industry standard. And so it's like very much her overstepping all of that stuff. And so it like that's the thing is that like she doesn't stand up for herself until it's like way after. Does that make sense? Like, and I'm like so cautiously bringing this to the stage because I know where I am right now. But like to me, and again, like she can do whatever she wants to do, and it's not on her to. I just think that because of the immense power that she wields, she has a responsibility to wield it correctly, and she did not.
You know, I must be so dumb. And that's why I thought Blake Lively was a good actress when we were younger. Because I literally can't wrap my head around that everyone thinks that Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively are so powerful. I'm like, It's like when the government keeps trying to tell us that China's bad and TikTok's bad. And then I text people, how often am I supposed to be thinking about China? Because I
Yeah,
don't.
sure.
It's the same with Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. I'm like, Ryan Reynolds, barely in movies. Blake Lively, never in a good one.
Yeah,
Like,
sure.
I understand that they're a hot couple with a lot of money, and then they use that money poorly, and they do a lot of bullshitty white people things. But to call them powerful is like one step too many for them. Where I'm like, well, who's taking those two idiots seriously?
Well, I will say that like he did like completely get control of Deadpool.
Well,
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, this has happened before. Like, she's taken a page right out of his book, but not like during the movie being made.
yeah.
So it's like he did. I understand what you're saying, and you are right. However, they do wield something.
See, it's that fucking Marvel. I wish Marvel would die because we keep getting idiots with power like Chris Pratt, and I'm like, let it die.
Yeah. Well, but that is really the thing is like I believe everything that she says about like him being gross to her and all these weird things that happen on set 100,000,000%. But then it's like instead of her being like, hey, like that's not okay, she instead like does something shitty back to him, which I'm like, okay, that's not good either.
No,
Do you know what I mean? It's like that doesn't help your case at all.
no, but is it my dream?
Yes,
Yes.
100%.
It's my dream to just like store all the bad things that someone has done and then hand them to Vulture after not having one conversation with you about boundaries.
And I think the other thing that I will remind you is that she does say when she's on set, there should be an intimacy coordinator. Whenever she's on set, there should be this thing. Not like this needs to happen in the movie for everyone.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because she's a selfish white lady.
Like that's the other part is that it was like everyone was like desperate to go back to work and keep earning money, and she was going to hold up the entire production until she like used the strike against Justin to get her way, which good on her, but like the hardworking people were like suffering because of it.
Well, because she's the mean girl at school. So like the mean girl at school will be like, I have to be safe. But don't worry, Jenny Slate, you're not pretty enough to be harassed.
Yeah. No, but like actually.
We know her. We grew up with her. We've written scripts about her. Like, literally, that's her attitude. Of course, the intimacy coordinator would only need to be here for me. I am the commodity trophy here.
Yeah. Did you see me in my see-through underwear?
Yeah. That bad man's gonna touch me in a way I don't like, but he'd never do it to Jenny because she's not pretty enough. Like,
yeah. No, like really though.
No, really, I'm sure that is her wretched, putrid vibe.
Yeah.
And yet, you won't catch me taking Baloney's side because I can't stand.
Oh, no.
I can't stand that he's building a career out of being like, I'm man enough to be good to women.
And like after watching this movie again and like actually paying attention to it, which I did not do when I was drunk on a flight the first time I watched it, like I was like even more enraged. And I was like, oh, you are such a sham in every single way because no person that is remotely knows what feminism even is or is friends with a woman would ever like watch this and be like, yes, this is totally tackling like domestic violence and like we're like you know.
We done it.
You know, time is up. You know what I mean? Like, not one person would say that.
Yeah. So, and again, hey, maybe we all could have flown under the radar about this movie. Like, bad movies get made all the time.
Also, the only reason the movie is so successful is because we all watched it because of the drama.
Right.
It's a terrible movie.
Like, my dad keeps trying to call or get me to watch what my sister calls, quote unquote, oil Yellowstone, which is Billy Bob Thornton's Landman show.
Oh, brother, I saw the previews for that. How was that?
I didn't watch it. I went downstairs to like get a snack, and in the 2 minutes that I was downstairs, I heard Billy Bob Thornton sexually harass a woman, be transphobic, and use a slur, like a racist slur. And I was like, I have to go upstairs.
Yeah, like this is just too much for me.
Stop telling me the show is good.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Do you feel in a good place to move to the closing out?
Yes.
Okay. What should we have learned?
Oh, wait, I'm so sorry. No, I'm not. The clothing in this movie alone was abysmal. And
And
every
it's
single thing.
her clothing. And I'm like, you have good outfits.
She made them buy new stuff.
Oh.
Like when she had those, which she probably kept. Like when she goes to the flower shop, has that really nice Valentino bag with the V's everywhere.
Uh-huh.
That's like that new canvas bag that like is probably like a $7,000 bag. Do you know what I mean? And she has those like Louboutins that had the heel on them that like are in like a shot. Like she was making them buy her all of Jenny Slate. Jenny Slate's wearing Valentino the entire movie.
And they're number one, I still don't know what Jenny Slate's job is.
What's to work at the flower shop?
Oh, that's right. She got a part-time job.
She's a cashier.
Because she's bored.
Yes, because she's rich and bored.
She owns a flower shop that we never watched one person walk into.
No, only the other characters in the show.
And then he's a neurosurgeon. So
also, when he's texting her and is like, "Please let me come see you," it's like, you know where she is. She has a business. Like where else would she be from the hours of 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. than other than her flower shop?
But that like pisses me off again because he's like, look how respectful I'm being. I'm not showing up at your flower shop to yell at you.
Yeah.
Your empty flower shop. Do we see flowers in the flower shop? What's
Barely.
happening?
We will walk by it.
I'm wearing 18 layers and
please know that the flower shop, when I tell you, okay, imagine if I live on like, how do I say this to not like say my real address? Like if I live on like 10th Street and Avenue B, this flower shop is on 8th Street and Avenue C.
How did you not watch this movie being filmed?
I don't know.
That's so surreal to be watching a movie and be like, that's my neighborhood.
That's my block. Like,
that's my deli.
No, there is a Subaru Forester that's in the background of the shot that like she's walking down, and I was like, is that my car? And it wasn't, because I would never be parking my car there because it would just like, I wouldn't have my car parked out because I park it in the garage. So it's like, it wouldn't be on the street there. But I was like, is that my car? Like, it could be.
Well, the clothing was terrible. And
the clothing was like, it was such amateur hour the whole time. Like, it's like, I'm making a movie, so I'm going to have this like weird, like, again, they're not just wearing like, I'm wearing right now a Hanes gray zip up hoodie. Like, instead of that, he's wearing like the guy, like, what's his name? Ryle is wearing like this like Hollister-esque. Remember when we used to wear like the Hollister hoodies that were like destroyed on purpose? He's like wearing one of those that's probably from like some fancy designer. It's probably like a Moschino hoodie. And it's like, ooh, it's weird and cool and different. And it's like, he could just be wearing a gray hoodie. Do you know what I mean? But instead it has to be this like, every single thing is like, every person's wearing like an outfit to a 10 at every time, at all times. And I'm like, or just wear a t-shirt. Like,
and like, and as you know, like one of the things that like pisses off my Capricorn brain is like, if you're going to write a book, why wouldn't you write a book well? If you were going to make a movie, why wouldn't you make a movie well? Because like,
they thought that they were. He thought that he was. That's the problem.
Okay. Well, Baloney, I have news for you. Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Better movie.
Oh my God.
Better wardrobe too. In Bodies, Bodies, Bodies.
I mean, it just was so bad. Everything about it. Again, like every decision that they made was the wrong decision.
Because you know what I'm saying? Like, I watch bad movies. I love bad movies. I want a Meg movie to come out every year. Every summer.
That like knows what it is. This thought that it was like an Oscar contender.
And the Meg movie at least goes the extra mile to make up fake science and then explain the fake science to me. Yeah. Like Twisters, not an Oscar movie, but a beautifully crafted story that also was about climate change at the end of the day.
Yeah.
We could have done it. We've done it with less, but it was very student film-esque.
Yeah, it was student film. Again, I said she walked onto that set and it was amateur hour, and she was like, "What the fuck did I just get myself into?"
And you're right too. Again, everyone give Chris enough money to get on the Patreon to like. I say $5. Yeah, $5. I was like, is $5 right? I don't even know how much.
No, it is $5. It is $5. It is $5 for that tier. It's $5
because, like, literally, it's court TV. Judge Judy's going to be banging a gavel at some point.
Yes, yeah.
What is our lesson from you making me watch It Ends With Us?
Oh God, what is our lesson?
Don't believe men.
Our lesson is like, yeah, don't believe men, one. And two, like, like, I'm upset that all of the drama has overshadowed the fact that this is like a harmful film. Do you know
Yeah,
what I
it's
mean? Like,
harmful.
it actually is a harmful film.
People left up triggered. Also, it's held us in a chokehold for a year. So we're just like, everyone's just reliving their trauma because neither one of them can shut up.
Yeah.
Also,
And
Netflix made me pay extra to watch it.
What do you mean?
Remember, I told you that when I first tried to watch It Ends With Us, I'm poor, so I have the Netflix with ads. And I went to click on the movie, and Netflix said, and I quote, Natalie, poor people don't get to watch this movie.
Oh
you have to be on an ad-free plan.
Oh my God.
So I had to pay extra to watch it.
Horrible.
I think that like maybe that's the lesson too, is like if you're gonna take on a story that's gonna affect a lot of people, maybe you put as much care into it as Liam Neeson did Schindler's List. Like, you know what I'm saying?
And like, but also too, it's like, where are there like domestic violence survivors that are like consultants on the movie? Do you know what I mean? It's like, we don't have
Justin
to like do
said
it.
that he worked with them, or he's like, I just know how that feels.
No, like, yeah, like, oh God. And the fact that he was out there on the red carpet saying like, we're here to like change lives and like teach people about domestic violence. And it's like, no, like you say that like you let him be in the delivery room with you when you have his child.
And like,
Then
and
I'm sorry
again,
to say, like, you should have aborted. Like,
ooh,
right? Am I wrong though? But am I wrong?
No.
Like, you should have aborted his child.
I don't want kids. Yeah, it's like you have to, again, if you're going to do it well, or else I'm mad.
Yeah.
Like,
So bad.
it was,
so bad. I can't wait to bring you to every single place that they're in that movie.
I can't wait for Hassan to have to take my photo at
Yeah,
you and I reenacting scenes.
When we're like pushing up each other up against the wall during that in that bathroom. And again, I'm sure that there's like a hole in the wall from so many people doing it. One.
I have a giant heart
Yeah, like,
drawn onto me.
Like, we're gonna get there and sit and be like, sit at that exact same table, and you're gonna have that heart on your like your décolletage, and the server's gonna come over and be like, you know what I mean? Like, so annoyed.
And I'm gonna be like, I'm sorry, are you annoyed because I'm here with my new abusive husband? And you miss me? And he's gonna, and we'll tip him really well for the privilege.
And like, okay, I know we're done, but like, why did the brother need to be dead?
Because Chris, I don't know if you know this, but every abuser has to have a catalyst.
But like, he's mad that his brother's dead at his hand. Like, he's upset, and that makes
he's a murderer. He told her that whole story, and she's like, I can't imagine being the other little boy. And he goes, it fucked him up for life. And I was like, that's when you should have picked up that it was him. He was the little boy.
Yeah. Oh God. Again, like, so many scenes about that, and like, the scene with you, Jenny's like calling him across the hallway to like have dinner, where she like berates him. Like, that's a better scene.
That's a better scene.
And definitely a better scene than that weird like montage on that roof where then she like mounts him. Which again, I'm on her side of like, she's like, why am I doing this? Like, why am I spreading my legs open and jumping on top of you right now? Like,
why did you show me the home video of your cousin giving birth? I don't understand.
Okay, I need you to think about the fact that they, like, what would you have done if she was completely naked whenever in that giving birth scene?
What would I have done?
That's what he wanted her to do.
I would have, if I was watching it or if I was on set?
No, if you watch this movie and then she goes to push the baby out and you see her nipples.
I don't know.
What would you do?
I literally don't know if our friendship would have survived it. Have you seen Nosferatu yet?
No.
Okay. Are you going to?
Probably not. Just
let me tell you. So, Emma Corbett from The Crown is in Nosferatu.
Sure, I like her. Yeah.
I can't remember if Emma is using they, them pronouns. I knew that they used to. Emma is playing a woman who is the Nosferatu's victim's best friend. Nosferatu kills her via the rat plague. So she's being the other girl wakes up and she's being eaten by plague rats. And I didn't clock it, but thank God my sister did, because 2 days later, I get a text message from my sister and she goes, I was fucking thinking about Nosferatu and Film Bros. And you can tell that that movie was directed by a man, because why the fuck was her left titty out while she was being eaten by rats? Like, was that necessary?
No, like at all.
Just like full nip out. She's
Completely.
being eaten by rats. And her titties out. And I was like, because men are terrible.
Like, you didn't need to do, like, again, didn't need to.
So if he had done that, I would have texted you and I was like, episode of, I don't know.
No, and also, like, again, like, we would all be like, what is happening? Like, have you ever seen even if it's true that women give birth naked, which I don't think that it is, like maybe, sure, that even if that's true, like, have you ever seen it in a movie and or TV show? I have not.
I watched every sister wife give birth in a bathtub and no one got naked.
Yeah, like
they get a special bathing suit. No one gets naked for their water birth. Why would you get naked for the laying on the bed birth?
Thank you.
That's
the part. It's like, as much as I think that she's an absolute monster in every single way, like, I'm like, but she is right. Like, why would like he was trying to like look at her tits while they did this like scene. You know what I mean?
God. Here's my manifestation. I really hope that a year from now, when, let's hope, the Serial series is over and we've moved on.
If only. Every single day it's making it longer and longer for us.
That at the end of this, there isn't more irritable, like, harm done that's now written down that all judges have to follow from now on.
Yeah.
Like, because that's what happened.
And I don't like it.
And I don't like it. So I hope that there's no more harm done legally and that Blake's lawyers win, because if Blake's lawyers don't win, there are a hell of a lot more consequences for a hell of a lot more of us. And as we've learned. And I would like to manifest that because of all of this, well, Colleen Hoover did announce on TikTok, I think, that she's giving up writing.
She should.
And she should. We are getting that Anne Hathaway movie that is apparently her best book. But I hope we never get the sequel to It Ends With Us, even though I would like to see that Atlas man in a more front-facing role.
That's like the other thing is, like, a lot of people are saying, like, oh, they're like fighting over the rights to the sequel. And I'm like, the sequel to what?
Well,
what left is there to say in this story?
Because here's the thing. Another Twilight, Hunger Games, Harry Potter bullshit. What they all trained authors to do was, why make one book when you can make 3? Because why make one movie when you can make 3? So he buys the rights to this book thinking, and then I get 2 more hit movies and Oscars out of this.
Yeah, no, truly 2 more Oscars is what I thought.
Yeah. And and just like the Divergent movie series, it was just too bad for me to want to look at the sequel.
Oh my God. Why did I feel like I watched all of those, and like as a joke. It was great. But I did love, what's his name, the hot guy.
Theo James, who's in White Lotus.
He's so hot.
Chris, do you have a manifestation?
I want this to, I don't know what my manifestation is. I want men to stop being gross.
Yeah, just stop.
I want there to, I found it. Okay, this is it. I want people that are acting in movies to not direct them as well.
Yes, you were so right.
Okay, every single thing in her world that she was upset about would have been combated if he was not the director and the star.
Correct.
Because then there's 3 people in the dance together, not him being the director and then also being on her. Do you know what I'm saying?
Like, this is how I feel compelled to do it, and this is how I want the scene to play out as the director.
Go to another person that then says,
no.
Well, like, that looks weird, so why don't you do this? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, all this could be avoided.
All of it.
But instead, he had to direct everything. Who does he think he is?
Who does he think he is?
Lenny himself.
Hello, I'm Lenny.
P.S. Never forget that we were like at the Academy Museum the day that Maestro was like having its premiere on the rooftop.
I I know.
Like they were setting up the red carpet and like we were like leaving there and like people were going to start showing up soon.
Every time Dominic goes, "Hi, I'm Lenny," I like kiss the sky. In honor of us.
Like we were there.
We were there. Bradley Cooper probably saw me and was like, "That looks like a fun gal. Look how fun she looks." Sure. Yeah. Chris, you know, our friendship survived this, and I'm just really proud of us. I'm going to come and visit, and we're going to go to the flower shop. I'm going to buy and press those flowers.
It's not, I mean, it is nothing, so you can't actually, but it's not a real flower shop, just FYI.
Oh, damn.
It was a yoga studio, and then it turned into just like they have all these different film sets there.
Oh.
But the building that you see in the background of it, one of them, when she's walking up the one time, is a really good brunch place that will have brunch, and we can just like look at, as we're at brunch, we can like look over and see it. And then we'll go down to Jersey City and walk where they're like walking when he's like, "Let's date." And she's like, "Maybe."
And we're reenacting it for TikTok.
And we'll reenact that, and then we'll go to dinner at the place where at Root, quote unquote, Root, where you have your heart.
Where I have a JoJo Siwa sized heart.
Yeah, like literally.
Well, Chris, make sure everyone knows where they can find you in case people have forgotten.
Wait, can we really quickly? I will do that, but never forget also whenever in the movie, whenever she's like, "My mom's coming to visit," and he's like, "Okay, like, can I meet her?" And she's like, "What?
Gross."
And I was like, "What?" It like made no sense at all. Anyway, you can find me at the Krista Rosa. You can find my show at Fixing Famous People.
And you can find us at Men I've Tolerated Pod on Instagram and Natalie K124 on a bunch of socials like Instagram and TikTok and the blue one. And remember out there, tolerators, you don't have to smile through anything you're tolerating, including a movie that's really trying to be something. But at the end of it all, it's just a whisper of what could have been a movie.
Yes, at true.
Smiles are for joy.